In this video, we'll discuss top 10 CRMs for startups in 2025. So let's dive right in.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent technology consulting firm. We help our clients with technology strategy, system selection, and change management. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is the top 10 CRMs for startups in 2025. Before we look at the list, let's align our understanding how we define startups, and we are also going to review the criteria that we have used to compile this list. So, startup segment, from our perspective, any company that are going to be, let's say, fewer than 20 employees or $10 million in revenue, anything before that, we generally consider that as more of the startup segment. This segment has very specific characteristic overall in terms of their appetite and the requirements and the structure that they have from the company perspective. For the most part, these companies are going to be very founder-led. They are not going to have as much integration requirement or the cross-functional alignment even within the sales and marketing departments. So they can utilize a lot more SaaS apps. They just don't have as much cross-functional alignment requirements because they are very small, and not many subject matter experts are leading these specific business units or specific departments, so they can manage with this kind of architecture. Overall, their needs from the lead tracking perspective, account management perspective, are going to be fairly limited. Sometimes they use multiple CRMs for different business units for different use cases, and they don't need to consolidate these CRMs right away until they reach to a certain point in terms of their revenue or with respect to their employee size. So this is how we define the startup segment. Now, the criteria that we have used to compile this list is product share, acquisition strategy that needs to be focused on the startup segment of CRM product. If this company is focused on that, then generally they rank higher on this particular list. Any sort of product roadmap, community ecosystem, win rate, technology strategy, as well as investors. So now let's look at the list. So number 10 on our list is Monday.com. In Monday.com, when you look at the product, for the most part, it is more of the work management platform. That's how they define it. The literal translation of that is slightly more project management platform. And those are the use cases for which Monday.com has been used. Workflow automation category is another one. So for example, this category is going to be relevant when you have to get data from many different channels. And these are very ad hoc workflows where you need to spin off quick forms or survey forms that you need to send out to your users to be able to collect that data and then store at one place, and then probably have some triggers and probably take actions. If you have those use cases for those, Monday.com could be a great fit. But for the most part, Monday.com is not necessarily a CRM. Companies use that when they are going to be very small. If they don't have budget to realign their processes, reconfigure their processes, they don't feel that they need to change their processes, and they're looking for a system that is going to accommodate the way they have designed their processes. In those use cases, Monday.com is going to be a great fit. But for the most part, the way Monday.com product is designed, it is going to have many different perspectives for the same workflow. So for example, let's say if you are going to have lead, it can be represented using your Kanban centric swim lanes. It can be represented as calendar or any other form such as your spreadsheet. So if you're used to of using a spreadsheet and you're looking for slightly more connected spreadsheet in those use cases, Monday.com is going to be a great fit. But if you're looking for all of those pre-baked CRM capabilities that you are going to get with many other products that we have on this list, then you might struggle with Monday.com. You might also struggle in how those capabilities will be implemented on top of Monday.com. And if you try to do that, then you will require substantial consulting budget, even though initially it might come across as very affordable platform. Even from the licensing perspective, the cost increases substantially. So some other strengths to keep in mind is their workflows as well as integration capabilities are far more robust. Ecosystem is far more developed as well. Some limitations to keep in mind is their relationships. When you look at relationships between those spreadsheets or forms, they can be connected, but the connection is going to be extremely loose. It's not as embedded as what you would find with some of the other mainstream CRM platforms. Any of the upstream centric marketing focused integration, those are going to be limited. And omni-channel marketing traceability, for those use cases, Monday.com may not be the best fit. So that's number 10. Number 9 on our list is Agile CRM. And again, Agile CRM is not as well adopted as some of the other mainstream CRM. It's designed for those smaller companies, startups. You are going to get probably far superior support from the vendor perspective, just because the vendor is not as big for the most part. And if you're looking for just for the contact management, emails, etc., for those use cases, Agile CRM could be a great fit. Some other strengths to keep in mind: it's very intuitive, comprehensive capabilities for startups in one solution. Some limitations to keep in mind is advanced features such as email templates, not as robust. And again, when you look at these email templates, initially when you are going to look at the demo of the system, you might not feel how big of a challenge this could be. But sometimes companies really struggle with these things, and you need to pay close attention to how difficult it is going to get to update those email templates. And that's why sometimes it's far better to go with mainstream platforms, because they are going to invest a lot more with their R&D. They are always updating their platforms. So in those use cases, Agile CRM may struggle a little bit. Overall ecosystem integration, for example, let's say you talk about any of the data platforms such as your Zoom Info. If they were to integrate their platform with a CRM system, then they would choose something like HubSpot, Salesforce, and then Agile CRM may not be as integrated. So if your data-driven workflows are going to be a priority for you, these systems may not be integrated with that, and their documentation is not as great as well. So that's going to be a limitation, and that's number 9. Number 8 on our list is Insightly. And Insightly is very similar platform as your Agile CRM. Again, it is designed for smaller teams. Starting on a CRM, it might have far friendlier pricing compared to the other CRMs. Some strengths to keep in mind is the custom object and the core project object. Some CRMs do support the project management workflows as part of their CRM. Not every system is going to support, but if you have that need, then Insightly is probably going to be a great fit. Insightly was always known for their analytics as well as intuitiveness of the platform. So that's going to be another strength for Insightly. Some limitations to keep in mind is the integration issues. The ecosystem is not going to be as robust, cheaper but expensive for startups, and the consumption-based pricing model that they have, that could be tricky overall from the pricing per lead perspective. So that's going to be a limitation, and that's number 8. Number 7 on our list is Salesforce Essentials. And Salesforce is very well used overall. When you look at the platform, Salesforce does have a dedicated solution for startups. Their enterprise grade solution is going to have much deeper capabilities from the Salesforce perspective. Overall, they mimic the look and feel as well as the UI across their platforms. But when you look at the alignment of the product, this product is very different. So for example, let's say if you look at the migration path from your Salesforce Essentials to their enterprise offering, that's going to be like migrating from completely different vendors, because Salesforce Essentials is a completely different product. It has very different support model. It's not the same product as Salesforce. Again, even though look and feel is going to be the same. So if your priority is, let's say, if you always want to remain on Salesforce interface so that you don't have as much learning curve as well as resistance from your teams, in those use cases, Salesforce Essentials might be a great fit, but it will still require the migration planning, migration support from the consulting perspective, moving from your Salesforce Essentials to the main Salesforce product. So again, some strengths to keep in mind is same interface. So that's a huge plus again from the change management perspective. The custom objects that you are going to have, it supports the custom object. The data model is very enterprise grade for the most part. Salesforce has developed many different platforms on top of your Salesforce model. So if you are going to have those operational CRM use cases for those, Salesforce is a great product in general. But because of that, it's also very hard to use as well as learn. So sometimes companies feel, especially in this particular segment, where they are going to have limited consulting budget, limited training budget, even your users are not going to be as skilled. And if that is the case, then Salesforce Essentials might not be the best fit for you. Some other strengths to keep in mind: overall, the reporting module is very easy to use. List builder is also easy to use. But again, if you look at the startup segment, sometimes they also struggle with this because this is very SQL friendly, and that does require a little bit of consulting training for the users. And if they are not familiar with that, sometimes they struggle with Salesforce Essentials. Limitations to keep in mind: overall, marketing automation is not as embedded as other products. So if your use case is going to be, for example, let's say website integration or marketing centric, upstream marketing centric use cases, for those, Salesforce Essentials may not be the best fit. Even their marketing automation product that they have, that is very enterprise grade, not designed for the startup segment. They have CRM for the startup segment, but they don't necessarily have the marketing automation product for the startup segment. So again, if that is going to be a priority, Salesforce Essentials may not be the best fit, but then you are going to find many other marketing automation platforms, for example, MailChimp, etc., that is going to be integrated with Salesforce. So, and again, this integration is not as intertwined, as embedded. You can easily manage with the external vendor system, etc. So again, it's manageable. But again, if you're looking for marketing automation, omni-channel traceability, alignment, etc., then Salesforce Essentials is probably not going to be the best product for you. Integrations may not be as intuitive, and you will require consulting help. So that's number 7. Number 6 on our list is HubSpot CRM. And HubSpot CRM is ideal for startups that care for upstream marketing workflows and omni-channel traceability from the upstream marketing perspective. Anything and everything that you do from the marketing perspective, if that is your priority, then HubSpot CRM is going to be a great fit. Now, for this particular segment, their consulting budget is going to be limited. So you might struggle with HubSpot just because it does require a lot of consulting help. So again, if you have very limited consulting budget, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, then again, HubSpot CRM may not be the best fit. You go to HubSpot, they are going to claim that they are probably going to charge very limited consulting budget. But with that, the only thing you get is link sharing. They are only going to do a little bit of project management. You don't get the real consulting with that kind of money. And again, if you cannot afford that given your stage, then HubSpot CRM may not be the best fit. Some other strengths to keep in mind is one tool to centralize all of your customer channels. Ecosystem integration is one of the most mature as well as advanced. That's a huge plus. Comprehensive options to integrate with CMS. And if CMS is going to be your priority, website integration is going to be your priority. In those use cases, HubSpot CRM is going to be a great fit. Some limitations to keep in mind: data model is not friendly for the complex operational use cases. So if you have CRM operational use cases in industries such as the not-for-profit, public sector, these industries have very complex CRM workflows. If that is your priority, HubSpot CRM is probably not going to be a great fit for you. Limited customizability. And again, customizability more from the operational layer perspective. Data model is designed to be very limited to support marketing automation centric workflows. For marketing automation, you don't necessarily require all of those parent-child hierarchies as well as the operational layers that you are going to find in systems such as your Salesforce, Zoho, etc. Those are operationally far stronger product to be able to support operational CRM workflows, and those operational CRM workflows are going to be slightly more sales centric than your marketing centric. So if marketing is your priority, if marketing is your bread and butter, then HubSpot CRM is a great fit for you. But again, for the startup segment, you would require consulting budget, etc. So that's number 6. Number 5 on a list is Keep. And Keep is a great product if you're looking for simpler CRM system with marketing automation capabilities. So some strengths to keep in mind. Overall, the HIPAA compliance-centric workflows, as well as they have several different capabilities. For example, let's say if you are going to be in the contractor-centric spaces or the coaches space, in those, or travel-centric verticals, in those, the integration with CRM is going to be very different. They also have very B2C centric requirements. So for those use cases, Keep is a great fit. Their workflows, the funnels, etc., are very complex as well. Those are very mature for the most part. But again, it's designed to be very simple. It's designed for solo founder, startup-centric companies. So that's why the layers that you are going to have with the CRM are going to be far easier to manage, far easier to implement. The limitations to keep in mind is limited direct integration with data apps, with limited B2B centric hierarchies. So again, if your data model is not going to be as complex for those use cases, Keep is going to be a great fit. And limited options with the landing page builders as well. So that's another challenge that you have with Keep, and that's number 5. Number 4 on our list is Fresh Sales. And Fresh Sales would be slightly more sales centric CRM as opposed to marketing centric CRM, and the comparable here is going to be Salesforce, Zoho, etc. Fresh Sales is also very tightly aligned with their ITSM centric offering. So if ITSM is going to be a requirement for you, for example, let's say if you have very ticket centric workflows, for example, let's say if you're a data center centric company where your IT workflows are going to be very deep as well, if that is your requirement, because in these use cases, your customer service as well as ITSM, that needs to be tightly integrated with your CRM workflows. In those use cases, Fresh Sales is going to be a great fit. Some other strengths to keep in mind: omni-channel campaign management, email, phone, WhatsApp, as well as if that is your requirement, then for Fresh Sales is going to be a great fit. It's very intuitive. Technology is great. It's going to feel very similar as Zendesk or Zendesk Sell, just because they are competitors and they have very similar capabilities. Zendesk also does very well in the customer service space. Their integration ecosystem is going to be tightly aligned with the ITSM customer service centric vendors as well as offerings. So in those use cases, Fresh Sales is a great fit. Some limitations to keep in mind: limited permission layers. Even though it is a very strong product for the mid-market, the permission layers might not be as strong as some of the enterprise offerings. For example, let's say if you compare this Salesforce, etc. Limited workflow capabilities such as your edits, limited advanced capabilities such as fonts, in email templates. So again, those marketing automation centric use cases might not be as well developed as your sales centric use cases. So that's number 4. Number 3 on our list is Zendesk Sell, and Zendesk Sell is a very similar system as your Fresh Sales. They compete head to head in very similar verticals. And again, these verticals are going to be very strong from the customer service use cases. In general, Zendesk Sell is far more adopted than Fresh Sales and Zendesk product, just because any companies that are going to use Zendesk customer service product, they're likely to use Zendesk Sell product as well for their CRM workflow. But again, Sell product is not as mature. It does not have as deep enterprise grade capabilities as their customer service product. It's more of the add-on offering that they acquired. In case of Fresh Sales, they have built it as opposed to acquiring it. With Zendesk, they have acquired it. So again, they are not going to have as seamless integration as some of the other products that we have on this list. Some strengths, overall their interface is very intuitive. It's very modern platform, but again, when you have these modern, easy to use platform, they are very cloud native. So again, the data integrity is not going to be as strong as some of the other products. The implementation is not as expensive, but again, it will require consulting help, because again, if you are going to use the Zendesk platform capability, if you need to augment or extend on top of that, then you would require expensive consulting help. Some limitations to keep in mind. Overall, the sales platform is not as well supported as their customer service product. So sometimes that could be glitchy. And then the integration is not as tight as some of the other platforms, and marketing automation is going to be a weakness. Advanced CRM capabilities is going to be another weakness. So that's number 3. Number 2 on our list is Pipedrive CRM. And Pipedrive CRM is far more mainstream CRM product compared to your fresh sales, Zendesk, Sell, etc. Pipedrive CRM, the comparable here is probably going to be Zoho, Salesforce to some extent, but for the most part, Pipedrive CRM does really well in the smaller segment, mid-size segment. It's going to have much leaner capabilities compared to HubSpot, even though the product and data model is very comparable to HubSpot as well. So overall, from the Pipedrive CRM perspective, their strengths are going to be some of the, for example, let's say if you look at their document-centric capabilities or CPQ-centric capabilities. So that is as part of their core. They were probably the first company to acquire data-centric vendor. So any of the data-driven workflows, they are far more ahead. Even HubSpot ended up acquiring after 3-4 years. So right now they might be working on those capabilities, but Pipedrive already has all of that. Pipedrive has also announced capabilities such as, for example, let's say if you look at some of the agentic capabilities, or if you look at their reporting workflows. So they are trying to come up with some of the agentic capabilities for their reporting workflows where you would not require as much consulting help. And that's where majority of the companies, they spent a lot of time and money with those reporting capabilities. So now with Pipedrive CRM, you are going to have that built as part of your agentic workflows. Sometimes marketers can use that as well. But again, depending upon how many different workflows are supported, so that's where you need to do a lot more research. You probably need to work with somebody who can interpret this for you, what kind of capabilities are going to be supported with the agentic workflows and how developed they are as of today. Some other limitations to keep in mind is their data structure is going to be weaker compared to the other platforms. For example, Salesforce, Zoho, they are going to have much deeper capabilities. Data import, export functionality, sometimes that is trickier. The customizability is going to be limited as well. So that's number 2. Number 1 on our list is Zoho Begin product. And Zoho Begin product is different from the regular Zoho product. Zoho product has far more mature capabilities, and that's why we don't list Zoho product as part of this list, because for the most part these companies are not going to have as deep consulting budget. So Zoho product may not be the best fit for them. Zoho Begin is far easier to use, implement, learn. So for the startup segment, this is going to be far superior product compared to other products that we have on this list. So again, some strengths to keep in mind is super easy to use, affordable integration with some of the other Zoho apps. But keep in mind, this is a completely different product. The migration is not going to be as easy from Zoho Begin to other Zoho products. It's a very similar strategy as your Salesforce, the way Salesforce does. But for the most part, Zoho Begin, the way its architecture is, it's very similar to your Pipedrive or HubSpot. Is designed for slightly more marketing-centric use cases as opposed to sales-centric use cases. Salesforce essential product that they have for these startups was slightly more sales friendly. So that's where the real distinction is between these products. Some limitations to keep in mind. It's inflexible. Again, it's designed for simpler use cases. So you are not going to have the same scalability that you are going to get with slightly bigger products. Integration and ecosystem requires external tools, limited user profiles, as well as security options. So those are some of the limitations, and that's number 1. If you enjoyed this video, we are going to include a detailed report that is going to have much deeper insights. So you might want to check that. We publish these videos on a weekly basis. So don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. If you prefer audio form, this podcast is also available on the majority of the podcasting platform. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.